yet another person who unfortunately has been trolled. But I feel like this story has become so repetitive. I'm trying to understand what the motivation is, but I can't quite get to it. Right. Last year we spoke about Janet Mbugua, and she did very, very vocally speak about the fact that she was trolled a lot when she used to work on a local TV station. And this is last year where she said, her words were, in 2015, when I was a TV anchor and I was pregnant with my firstborn, I was attacked online with a lot of vileness towards me for being too pregnant. Yes, too pregnant. Make it make sense. That's what she said this time, right? However, last year she did say the same sentiments, which are every day it was hateful, spiteful messages saying that you are too pregnant to be on TV. We can't stand looking at you while you are reading the news like that. I think that happened that happened before me, just that I was widely watched on TV in the region. Now, again, she's bringing it up, and she says a lot of comments were asking me to come back after maternity leave, but I pushed it back because obviously the TV team that she was working with was very nice to her. And then she said that she is lending a voice to people who are getting violated or have violence done against them, and that has affected them. But I feel like, in all honesty, with this particular story, I don't know what to say. There's something about, you can stand for something without bringing a negative connotation to it. That's where I'm looking at it from. Because if you speak about, for instance, a very sensitive topic like female genital mutilation, which still happens to this day, and people are still traumatized because of what happened to them in the past as young women, you don't have to bring the gory story in front of us every single time you're speaking about or standing for it. You can speak about other interesting things about it. For example, give us statistics, give us, more information about your experience on there. You can stand for something without having to be the poster child of victimization. Do you get what I mean? You don't have to always be a victim for you to stand up for anything. And I feel like, unfortunately, in this environment of social media, it feels like unless it's charged with negativity, it can't necessarily come out as a cause. A cause doesn't always have to be negative. You don't have to try and help women with or young girls with sanitary products or sanitary, what do you call them? Material. Yes, sanitary materials, either pads or menstrual cups or whatever. You don't have to have a very gory story for you to do that. In the same way, you don't have to be a child of you didn't have parents growing up, yada yada yada, for you to support other children who don't have parents in an orphan home. Do you get what I mean? Do you see where I'm coming from? It doesn't have to be charged with negativity. You can just be a person standing up for this particular message without necessarily having so much negativity on top of it. But clearly, this is something that has affected her a lot, and so much so that it's fresh trauma. I kind of get where she's coming from, because every time you talk about it, you're reminded of that horrible experience that you went through, and it's very traumatizing. However, I think anyone else coming out to tell us a story, it doesn't always have to be negative. We need to change the narrative online. It doesn't always have to be a negative story. And it's okay to have a negative story with your cause, but can we increase the amount of positivity that's out there? That's what I think. There's so much negativity online right now. It's like every time you go online, you even feel alone by looking at your social media. You feel traumatized and scarred by other people's stories. I think it's time we need to revamp a little bit, have a little bit of positivity here and there. You get me?
There's this worldwide thing where there's a certain way people who are on TV are viewed as. There's a certain image you need to be. You need to be very skinny. You need to be very sexy. There needs a sexual appeal. And you're wondering, why do I need to be sexy when I'm doing business news? Why do I need to be sexy when I'm reporting news? 3 people died on a tragic car accident. But you will not receive the news, or you'll be distracted by my body as I'm telling you. As in, I need to look a certain way to relay this message, and it really doesn't make sense. But it has been there since forever. We've even seen, is it Spain or somewhere, or where news anchors, especially
wearing the crop tops and the see-through tops and stuff like that.
For the weather girls are just taking it a notch higher. You need to look a specific way for you to tell us the weather, if it's going to rain tomorrow, and that doesn't really make sense. And then fast forward, I come working on TV, and somebody will be like, well, even you're on TV looking like that. I'm like, oh, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? But I've chosen not to always talk about it like that. You don't always have to
hammer in,
associate yourself with a negative story. It's not America's Got Talent where you're really talented, you're singing, but before you start singing, there's a backstory. Oh, I had cancer at the age of 2. Now I'm recovering. It's been a difficult journey. I know negativity sells.
It really does.
And it's unfortunate it's gotten to where everybody needs a sad story for them to champion a cause. Please, I really would hate to associate Janet with, you know, a very sad story all the time. You know, you have worked so much on your brand, on your image. You impact a lot of lives with what you do. You really just don't have to bring the victim side all the time.
Don't dredge it up every 2 seconds. It's, I don't know. Again, it's
And
your
we're not
story.
minimizing it
It's
or
your
anything.
story. It's your life. And as we said, it could have really traumatized you.
Yep.
But I think we just need to change it. Give it a little bit of a
Change the
swap.
narrative.
You know, tell us a happy story of something happened on TV, so you can inspire other girls to go onto TV. If it's always I was beaten, something happened, who will want to do the job? Nobody. You get what I'm saying? Inspire new talent. I don't know. Moving on.